watching AYV Television.
We are chairman of Renaissance, and Renaissance was considered to be an independent body that advocates for change.
So, I'm not asking you to ask about you are Minister of Information, where President Kuma announced austerity measures from State House.
Yes.
No matter you're in free quality education, and I am against that. I will not accept. This is not President Bio's free quality education.
So the economy went bad from your own time.
Disciple.
You're not Bioist or
Yes.
you're in a pauper.
We feel difficult for interpret the connotations that they.
As the Anti-Corruption Commissioner, have you been approached to be compromised or corrupted in the matter you're investigating?
When they talk about the ills of the country for years, 5 years to election, I know them. President Bio at the time, Nabi Mumu.
So I welcome you to AYV Television on Channel 33. We also broadcast online at www.ayvnews.com. And with the stream now Facebook page, Africa Young Voices Media Empire. This and the talk show Hot Seat. The program where they ask the questions them where yourself within also the watch wiki want for me we ask. As always, we can take on us suggestions them and compliments as well as criticisms on issues them all they discuss in the program. Me and Amadou, I'm gonna buy now. Welcome all we viewers them across the country and across the world, especially the one they following our Facebook page. As we always can appeal, let we do contributions. We give contributions them responsibly. We all can disagree on issues that we discuss, but let we respect the opinion and views of other people. Them, so we can disagree without abusing nobody. So we don't get the time for delete or block people them from the platform. So I welcome una, and it's always interesting with una comments them on our Facebook page. Inside today's program, where they can talk about governance, politics, the economy, and everything under the sun. If the my guests will permit me to say that, or everything under the palm tree as well. But today, we get the Minister of Information and Communications, Honorable Mohamed Rahman Soare, where they can talk about issues that don't they happen, and within the government and inside the country. We see the president don't travel, go na UK, come about education. We see he go Turkey as well, Usai meet with the Turkish president. We need to get updates on them things and so we get the minister where go can give you updates about things that will happen today inside the country as the president be officially launch the grant way for support the health sector as well as a government. So I get the pleasure for welcome my very good friend, Honorable Mohamed Rahman Soare. Is it okay to call you Honorable as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not calling myself, you are calling me, and that means
and
I'm very deserving of it.
Okay.
I mean, that's an adjective. In fact, when we travel abroad, they call us Your Excellency. So I don't want to split hairs over that. We have too many important issues to talk about. So it's quite a pleasure being on Hot Seat again. It's been a little while.
It's been long. It's been long. Not even a while. It's been too long.
It's been long.
So welcome. And I appreciate you take your time for joining me as well from your busy schedule. But how has it been? 3 years in governance and holding that ministry where you supervise a lot of agencies and as well you talk for government. Is it something you've been enjoying?
Well, yes. It's quite a privilege in a country of 7.3 million people. The lot fell on me to play that role. So even out of respect for the people of Sierra Leone, even where it can be really grilling, you accept the responsibility and move forward with a smile. Sometimes it gets really, really, really difficult. When you have breaking news stories, you are calling, everybody from home and abroad is calling, and you have to maintain your calm to ensure that you don't misspeak, right? Then you come to the other portfolio, you have to look after all of these agencies, So it's been a hectic moment. I took over this assignment. I never had a strand of gray hair. Now I'm getting gray. You know, I had a pressure as good as a baby. Now I occasionally, you know, my pressure overshoots. So, I mean, but this is part of national service, yeah. So if I say that, you know, I mean, I'm only a minister in this government, so you could imagine President Bill must be getting very gray.
I know.
I mean, he has to attend to the multifaceted, multi-dimensional problems confronting not only the country, because he's also become quite a major player in the sub-region. So it's not funny being where we are. But that's a package.
The Ministry of Information, you know, now one big ministry, like you say, gets agencies, now the telecoms industry where you supervise as well,
yes,
and you get a relationship with the media as well.
Yeah.
Where you know you talk for the government and as well you know, get some good relationship with the media. You see, Usai, under you watch as minister.
Yeah.
The criminal libel law, part 5 of it has been repealed. See, we don't get a cyber crime bill. Do you consider those as achievements that you'll be proud of as a minister that you've been able to do? We don't get people that when I'm journalist, practicing journalists will be ministers, they were unable to achieve that.
Well, with modesty and humility, I'm very proud of those achievements, and all should be. I know you, you have been an integral part of the fight, for example, to have the criminal libel law repealed. I know my good old friends who have been in the vanguard of this clarion call, Omar Fofana, Kelvin Lewis, all of these journalists, spanning a long line of successive leaders. You know, they have all tried their very best, but you did not have a listening government. You did not have a government that was sincere. You did not have a government that saw the utility in repealing the criminal libel law. You had President Bill, who was the most ridiculed, who was the most castigated, who was the most lampooned, and who was the most mischaracterized, right? He came in and said, look, against great odds, I believe there's a lot of value in repealing. Once you repeal, you are bringing your country's law in line with 12 other international covenants of which we are already in default by merely maintaining it on our law books. And again, at the time, we argued that it will be able to attract investment into the sector. We further argued it should create a more enabling environment to attract female practitioners into the media and much more. So, you know, we wait, we continue to water those seeds to ensure that they bear that fruit. But just after that, you have started seeing the fruit. Sierra Leone jumped way up in the Media Freedom Index. So these are the quick wins we said we'll get. Talk about the cybercrime law.
Exactly. Some people think it's just something the government will want for use for close this space.
No, so it's hard to say. You know, this country, yeah, historically, then they respect too much as a country. We've been getting enlightened debate, top-notch debate on national issues. Now with the, you know, would they make too much funny past serious issues?
Because they disagree with the cybercrime?
No, not disagree at the camp. I don't see people then we grow up now, brother, in their opinions. They had not read this bill. Yeah, once the bill was out, they problematized it, right? They gave it all kinds of names. But when we dissected it, you know, on the very good request of Parliament that will broaden the scope of consultations, will broaden the span of engagement. When we came back, you know, apart from a few things here and there, the bill got strengthened.
Okay.
We are saying, you know, people, this country, we have to learn to elevate debate.
So it wasn't the fault of the people, it was because the engagement, like Parliament's advice, where Parliament say, when I go engage people, they understand what's in the bill. It means you didn't engage them much.
You know, this is water under the bridge. You know, me, a very, very methodical person. When I went to Ethiopia to the AU Ministerial Conference, I made the case, you know, Sierra Leone was named and shamed because we had signed up to the Budapest Convention by the previous administration. There was the ECOWAS directives. After all the jamboree in Equatorial Guinea, yeah, we came back, nobody did anything about it. So we were already in default of 2 major international commitments. So I came back, I made a case there and there. So look, we are a new government, we need all the support in the world to be able to enact those enabling legislations to be in line with the world and to be able to create a more enabling environment for our citizens who are now engaging in virtual space.
Okay.
So that was it. So when we had technical assistance, we summoned a large foray of salient stakeholder groups, including the Bar Association then, Sludge was there.
Sludge denied that.
No, I don't want to split hairs over that.
Yeah, no, but I'm just
saying.
saying.
There's no utility. There's now no utility.
So
Let me come.
What's the status of that bill?
No, let me come. Let me just land this.
Okay,
People then sabi. So you see, this is, like what I can say, that is now made say after death. Yeah, they made all the waiting. All political parties have been variously engaged even before we went to parliament, but they themselves owned it up. Remember, they owned this up. They make statements on behalf of their political parties, But once they said we needed to broaden the scope of consultation, and I have to give this to the minority leader, he did say Parliament had been extensively consulted, right? But there was a need, since this is a bill that will touch the lives of virtually everybody who uses one form of digital technology or not. So agreed, we went out.
And you did
right?
that.
We did that.
Yes.
So we are happy with the roaring applause, acclamation that the bill received in Parliament. It enjoyed cross-party support. All the political parties.
What's in the status of that bill, the president?
Well, His Excellency is now with His Excellency for assent. Yeah, so we are now working with State House to get a date for the enactment of that. But even before then, I am very pleased to report this. This is a technology bill. Let nobody, I have to give this to the lawyers. The Bar Association supported us extensively in putting it together. I want to doff my hat to those guys because Fubé College has remained very unprogressive over the years. I'm an alumnus. They still do not do...
So they're not doing nothing?
No, they still do not do causes like cybercrime and related issues. And these are the modern issues. We're talking about climate change and all of those things. Modern universities should be able to grow. They should be able to speak to those trendy and emerging
government
issues.
Government want to take responsibility for that?
Not a government. I don't make President Bill.
The technical ministry can recommend.
No. So let me say this.
Alpha, we don't talk a lot about.
Let's say this now, my brother. Let's say this. One of the reasons why His Excellency don't cease for the Chancellor of the university, we've been in the campaign talking. We don't want to politicize the university. We want let the university provide their own leadership, let them choose their own leadership, right? So that they can go undertake research, they can go able to get new windows of funding and grow the university as a professional institution. So we are not meddling into it. You find out that the president don't quit that one day as part of a campaign manifesto commitment. You talk about the cybercrime bill. I'm very, very pleased for come back and say alone people then say this is not to the law they already passed no more for tick box sake. Already we don't begin the training. They don't train a couple of people now the judiciary for let them train other judges there in the use of electronic evidence and the key issues in that law. We also don't begin train prosecutors there for let them able for relate to the law in areas like admissibility of electronic evidence, curation, and administration, all lengths in we don't begin that training. Again, under the same program, because I tell you, I was able to make a case, people then can see people then to travel. One of them travel, and this is a multi-million-dollar investment that they talk about. So we got support from the European Union through the Council of Europe for support ECOWAS. Now Sierra Leone is going to have a national SAT. They are going to, national SAT means National Computer Incidents Response Team. Then they deploy that mechanism in there. Already they don't train about 5 people in Ghana. They have been there all this time for let them train them. For become cybersecurity experts there, for manage national SAT. And under the same scheme, apart from training, apart from equipment, they not also tell we say they will enhance the forensic lab of the Sierra Leone police for enable them for do digital investigations, forensic investigations, all that in there. So we are making progress. So when people then understand this lawyer, like I said, this country, a lot get serious with the discourse. Now, just recently, we sit down there, so we are all don't hear about hush puppy, not so. Hush puppy being sit down at the comfort and convenience of Dubai. It literally flees the whole world. We then go now in a room, the one who then catch $40 million. You understand?
So this law prevents anything then the people.
No. So the law basically they talk about trans-border organized crime, you know, things like money laundering, things like digital offenses, yeah, things like terrorism, and then things they would talk about. Okay. But when the offense they happen, you should have a law to be able to try them. You know, you remember when cocaine played in Milan in 1998? Because we are in a very unprogressive mindset, say it not happen now, it not happen now. So what did it happen? We'll not be even get law for try that.
Okay.
We run all over the place, camp all over the place for put a law in place for try that.
Okay.
You understand? So this is a digital era. What's make it important for we as a country, Lama? You find out that 87% of citizens there, with citizens there, then connected by mobile voice. 87%, right? You also find out that 25% of them, they use various digital platforms, and this is set to grow every year. So that space they will need for protect with citizens, and so they are not fleeced. They, you know, then things are not going to happen to them. Okay. In the unlikely event it happens to them, we are able to take measures for try them. The other example I want to give, apart from hush puppy, we get this situation. You know, Nuhu Ribadu was the equivalent of Ben Kefala here, the EFCC commissioner there in Nigeria. She won something with TED Talk. You can look for the TED Talk. It's in the course of one of the investigations in Nigeria, it stumbled upon an incident where a group of Nigerians, 419 Yahoo guys in Nigeria, robbed a bank in Brazil, $154 million. The bank collapsed, the bank governor died. You understand? So now then kind crime here, as it is
so
now.
So we get law now, can't get law now where they prevent or where they address sensitivity.
Well, they do both. They go do prevention where it does not prevent. If it happens, we will get the enabling law for try. One key thing for this law, we family for understand, now the fact say it get a major component with the deal with international cooperation. Okay. Because transnational organized crime, people that already commit anomaly, they are resident and domiciled in other countries away from outside and commit the offense. So that offense they happen, we're not able to extradite that person, or we're not able to try and let the law take in course.
In order for target any political opponents, people
this government
think say they right but you they right bad but the president.
But if it writes no more right but the president once it correct, right button. Yeah. But even under our law there now that we don't repeal. You understand, eh? You write bad but possible not so true, they can take it to court. Yeah. Yeah. And this government.
The cybercrime bill will give more strength to that.
Yeah,
so definitely. People and even
definitely. Okay. You know, the cybercrime bill, you know, like I say, the country for begin debate on a very elevated platform. You get a situation, man, they say, hey, they take away rights. In fact, it's giving rights to more citizens. Before now, right now, if you get a cyber incident where they investigate, all what they need for do, now for let them write to the network, they write to like AfriCell, like Orange, so they investigate Lamrana Bar for this offense. We want all in data, we want all in call records there. Then they give you. Okay. Right now, no. So under this law, we put they don't problematize and criminalize. Under this law now, if you want forget at Lamrana and call records, they say you, the police officer, ought to do the investigations. You got for right to a judge, giving reasons why you think say that investigation for lead to Lamrana. That means if you don't get IP address, if you don't get all lengths and then for sure say you hand it per that thing.
So there was this concern as well about data security. Yeah. The data of people. Yeah. You know, I remember Parliament even suggesting we should have a data law. You know, we go protect people as well before we get a law like this.
And you listen to my response at the time,
yes, because it will expose a lot of people information.
It doesn't. Even under this law, it doesn't.
Okay.
Under this law, it doesn't.
So what the status of the data?
No, like what I don't tell you so. Right now, where the partner sign the law is, if they investigate you, then just the right to the operator, they say they want to call records. But once the bill is signed into law,
okay, the judge need for give approval.
The judge need for give approval on specific terms. Okay. That you got to be convinced for say indeed, that investigation will lead to you, right? Where that one they happen, there are clear processes where the police officer say, oh, they execute the warrant, get for go by. If you not go by, then they go out of or get reckless, he too can be prosecuted under the same law.
Okay. Mr. Minister, we don't talk about some of the success.
So you talk about the data protection law.
Yes,
we are working with it now. Like I tell you, there is a residential retreat right now for let them put finishing touches on now. The NCRA and the Ministry of Information, they work with her, but they talk to all salient stakeholder groups for make sure it's all inclusive. But let's get this one clear. Okay. It does not necessarily mean that you go for enact data protection law. I tell Parliament this before this one. Nigeria enact Yeah, now they say, now that make I say within advanced stages.
Okay.
Nigeria first enacted the cybercrime law in 2015 before the data protection law followed 5 years later in 2019. The good news is ours will follow in quick succession before the end of the year.
Okay. So they get the data law before the end of the year?
Oh, definitely. You can take that to the bank. It won't bank. It won't bounce like all other things I've said which has come to fruition.
Let me look at, you don't talk about the success them under you supervision.
I just begin with that.
Some of them. But there has been failures as well.
Oh, there have been challenges. I won't call them failures.
Sharatel, how will you describe Sharatel?
This is why we need a little dose of public education as well. Sharatel is not under the Ministry of Information. Let me say this.
Okay.
Sharatel is scheduled for privatization.
No, but
no. So let me say.
Don't you have supervisory role?
No, so let me now do the role delineation so that you see clearly what's happening here.
Okay.
So, okay, it's like you now Peking, but not to me, you did to.
Okay.
You did to your uncle.
Okay, but
so,
you have supervisory
No,
role.
no, you're not going to uncle, I guess supervisory role. No, wait, Lama. Now, me don't begin the example.
You call me and ask me how you do.
No.
You do well. You do fine. Uncle, let's take care of you. Yes, go ahead.
So, Tinelek, if you don't study, then Tinende, na your uncle, which places una eat, yeah, all then Tinende. Where school they close? I will ask you. Yeah, how the results, then send them to me because I can't spend. So the relationship between the Ministry of Information and and Sharatel, now the fact say Sharatel scheduled for privatization. Yeah, so that means, you know, now the National Commission for Privatization responsible for that. The ministry, out of a sense of responsibility to Sierra Leone, may roll not just for provide ministerial cover. That is because NCP not go to cabinet. If they get something for take to cabinet, I should take it to cabinet. Yeah. So
Sharatel is still a subvented agency, no?
It's not subvented. It's not subvented. No, it's not subvented.
So what I do? Anything from government?
No. So what I do is, you know, being the proactive person, when they have issues that I think, you know, the NCP. I go in to support them, to strengthen their hand.
How will you assess, how will you have wanted to see Sharatel or encourage?
Sharatel is a missed opportunity. It's a missed opportunity.
Who should take responsibility?
It's a tragic failure of successive leaderships. You know, before we came to government, I know...
governance 3 years
let
now,
me come.
Mr. Minister.
Achebe says, no, the Second World War ended, you know, in 1945. So this day, people still talk about it, the Holocaust and all of it. So don't discount the reference.
In 3 years, a law that was not repealed, where a former president promised under your watch was repealed.
I'm not saying we don't take responsibility, but you have to understand the context.
Okay, so but not take responsibility.
We will take part of the responsibility, and we are not leaving Sharatel like that.
Okay.
We will not leave Sharatel like that. I did say, before we came to governance, we had something like about $40-something million they took from the Exim Bank of India to revamp Sharatel. Yeah, they went for a technology that they used before the Second World War, which is now gone completely obsolete. No factory support, the CDMA. Yeah, so Sharatel is burdened; they cannot compete. That is why I said in my topic sentence that Sharatel is a mixed opportunity. Right? It's a sad accumulation of many things. But as a government, there is a clear directive, I'm told by the NCP, to ensure that they privatize it. You know, public tenders have happened, people have sent in bids, evaluations have happened. We will keep the Sierra Leone population briefed. I have asked for a briefing from the NCP. They will tell me the outcome of that process, and I will accordingly take the matter to cabinet and share the rest of the population.
You know, one person we not believe in privatizing public institutions. Yeah.
Well,
why should this happen?
No. So
we're not able to provide the leadership for handle Sharatel.
Well, so it's
President has been appointing the people who.
No. So can I speak to this?
Yes, sir.
In my previous capacity, I would have given you quite a score of organizations that have tragically failed under successive leaderships.
Okay.
From Luto, SLRTC, you have quite.
Let's focus on Sharatel for now.
No, just to let you know, right? The NCP, as the supervising entity, the parent entity, have done a lot of due diligence. They have been engaging. Once that is concluded, I'll be appropriately briefed and I will then take it to cabinet.
You sit at
for
cabinet, will you
endorsement.
advise otherwise? Will you advise for its privatization, or say, okay, government needs to invest in this, it's be owned by the people of the country? It's a very good revenue stream.
Okay,
as well.
so let me put it this way. I know the people of Sierra Leone in the end want services and they want quality services.
Okay.
They don't simply patronize simply because it is owned by the government. They want services. I wonder if you have a Sierratel card.
No, I
you are
don't.
not subscribed to them.
No.
Because I know you are a great nationalist, but bottom line, you want quality services for your Leones. That's the point, like all other Sierra Leoneans. So that is why we want to turn Sierratel around so that it's able
And that can
to
only
have
be
a
achieved through
footage.
privatization.
Well, that's a major option. That's a major option.
Okay.
But like I say, I've asked for an update from the National Commission for Privatization. Once I get that update, I will be escalating it to cabinet. Once a decision is taken, I'll come back and brief the public because it's a state-owned asset.
From Sierratel, what's happening with Salpost?
Salpost, that's very interesting. Again, like I say, you know, Salpost and Sierratel are in the same context. It's also on the list for privatization. But I'm not sure that's what...
It seems like giving everything under your watch away.
No, this is not under my watch. This is not under my watch. Lama.
But you're not the papa for Salpost.
No,
as
not
well.
today happened.
No,
Before we come, you know, when NPRC Naim set up the National Commission for Privatization. Yeah, because they may do very bad. Now, the IMF, World Bank, this, that conditionalities back then, right?
Okay.
So then come in, they don't do some work. So they may not put the institutions then on the list for privatization. You understand? So in coming days, this is a secret. I am putting up a cabinet paper to see how we can remove Sierratel from, Salpost from that list.
Okay.
Because Salpost, there's a universal principle. Salpost renders universal services. That is why you could stay in your village back there and receive a letter.
So you will be asking cabinet to remove, you'll be positioning a paper so that they remove Salpost from them?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
Why? Once you privatize, money making becomes quite a key issue. With Salpost, it was meant to deliver universal services. That is why even the poorest person should be able to have a mail from the post office. It's unlike the courier services. What are the names? DHL, this, that. So that is the poor man's level, right? So that's the big
what's
vision.
your plan?
But the good news is, good news is, first, let me say, I mean, like I say, this has been a sad day for our country.
Okay.
Since 1982, Sierra Leone stopped paying her membership contributions to the Universal Postal Union. The Universal Postal Union is the agency that supports postal services around the world. That's the regulatory framework.
Okay.
So because we have not paid membership dues since 1982, we cannot benefit from things that the UPU does to turn around post offices in many countries. So this year, we had the annual general meeting
that you attended with.
I attended with the DG, the MD of the post office. We went to Ivory Coast. Initially, they did not want to accept our attendance. We had to put up a strong case, and we did a payment plan to begin to pay off our membership contributions. So tell me, how is anybody going to treat your country seriously if you cannot even pay basic membership contributions to international organizations that should be positioning you on the global scene?
Okay.
So we did
but
that payment plan.
In governance now.
No, but they don't meet regularly.
Okay.
They meet every 4 years.
But you could you for now for no understanding that the problem this.
But they talk about problem we happened in 1982. We the solver now. We don't take responsibility.
Okay.
We've done a payment plan and we have started paying.
Okay.
Right? And while we were there, the MD was very proactive. We're already talking to lead post offices around the world to support Salpost.
Okay.
So, but I will not take the wind out of his sail. I'll wait for him to engage the press on that. But I'm very happy we came back from the UPU smiling all the way.
And you believe Salpost shouldn't be privatized?
No, I don't think so. No.
What's in your vision for it? What's vision you get for Salpost?
So
if it should not be privatized.
You don't hear about the dinosaur, the story of the dinosaur?
No, tell me.
Yeah, well, the dinosaur, one of them, old. Yeah, the dinosaur not be able to adapt to changes. So it die, it go extinct. So the only thing they know about the dinosaur now, pass your name or you see on a picture, not so, they may not go extinct. So post offices around the world faced a huge challenge where digitalization came in and all that. You understand? So they needed to remodel their business model. They needed to adapt to changes and latch onto digitalization and innovation for staying in business.
Okay.
Right? So Sierratel might be catching up a little late, but that is the route we are taking.
Okay.
Right? That is the route we are taking.
Okay.
You know, now you sit here, you buy goods online, you buy this, you buy that. So you still need, yeah. So we have a clear vision. We have a great vision, right? I mean, we have started making the partnerships now that we are paying up our dues to the UPU. But why is this dues payment very important to us? So that means from 1982 to this day, no Sierra Leonean can be elected to the UPU bodies. In much the same way, like before now, we could not have had a job on the International Criminal Court. But because President Bio is keen about the image of this country, he has made, you know, a tremendous effort to launder the image of our country, to position her to attract not only her fair share of international private sector investment, but also to be respected.
Okay.
You know, remember the former Minister of Labor went to an ILO conference in Geneva. He was literally not let in because Sierra Leone had not paid since you were a boy. You know, but we are addressing this issue so that we could be respected. We could have opportunities for our people. You cannot apply for senior executive jobs and get it. Right?
You now one possible no believe again. I will repeat in the privatization of state institutions.
Well, it depends. It depends on the state institution. It depends on the state institution.
I've heard you said that in an interview or in
it depends on the state institution. It depends on the prospects.
The privatization or giving away of you know, SALCAP. Was it done under pressure? Do you have regrets, or you still think it's the right decision?
Well, we ought to have done it earlier.
Why?
We ought to have done it earlier.
But this is a decision that President Bio said made money.
No.
You know, when he was speaking to Parliament,
let me say this, Lara. You know, it's very helpful to understand the context. You know, so when the previous government landed the cable here, the CLS here, there were a couple of conditions the World Bank gave them. This was a $50 or so million World Bank loan, right? It's had conditions precedent. Number one, we should be able to ensure that we reduce government influence in the running. You bring in the private sector. That was it from the beginning. That was the original business model. Yeah.
A PPP model.
Yeah, PPP model, right? Get it separate and apart from the terrestrial backbone. That was the original understanding. Yeah, the previous government started off well. I'm told they even took monies from, you know, the telcos, but they had a change of mind. They brought it all together and it became a government thing.
And you followed that as well when you came, you appointed?
Well, we needed time to catch our breath. We needed time to catch our breath. Yeah, we now got convinced privatization was the only way. The model is operations and maintenance. It is still a state-owned asset. The government still owns it, right?
So you have no regrets of that?
No. We could have done it earlier as per the World Bank process, yeah. That's also have been done earlier.
Was it in adherence or because SALCAP not been they make money or you not get the leadership? Was it in adherence to which you just say, because that is just some recommendation for
all of the above? It was not a recommendation. This was a major condition. In fact, the other conditions were that you must have a cybercrime law, you must have so these things we are doing now, we ought to have done later. So that was why the World Bank had problems with the previous administration. They pulled out of the sector. They are only now coming back. We are almost seeing in the horizon some $50 million, you know, for ICT uptake and all of that. Okay. Because we have been able to do take the tough right decisions. And
there are people who've become redundant. They don't
yes, but you know what? I had an illustrious HR career before I got here. So we ensured, you know, that, you know, due process was observed. Every dime owed each of those people, right, was paid.
Not all of them, Mr. Minister.
Everybody will be paid their just rewards.
Some have been paid.
Most have been paid. Most, I really mean most.
Well, at your conference room, I can recall the other staff, it was very heated until the permanent secretary came in and tried for settle.
I'm saying most have been paid and everybody will be paid their last pennies due there. I mean, look, I'm a Sierra Leonean.
How about those losing their jobs?
I'm a Sierra Leonean. No, let me come. I mean, this is a very interesting conversation. I'm a Sierra Leonean. You could not have found a better person to preside over it. I have before now laid off people, and I also got laid off. So I understand the psychological, emotional, and all of it that goes with it. That is why I have been very insistent, and I am still to ensure that everybody is given their just reward. Don't forget, of that number you are talking about, many of them are now employed at the terrestrial. Yes, I mean, as part of the cabinet conclusion, we are supposed to form a holding company, which will later go into a PPP arrangement with a private sector player, and people are already working 3 months on, you know, from that figure you are talking about. So it's not an outlandish thing, and we will make sure that people who have had experience working at the network will be given the first opportunity, who have the right skill sets and the right attitude.
Okay. For finish this discussion about you know, the agencies them under you watch let's look at NATCOM. You know, recently you visit them building where they go up by the U.S. Embassy and so. Yeah. The issue of calls in sale unions paying expensive for calls, sale unions paying expensive for data, especially in a country like this. What are your vision? What are you plan for ensure, say, telecommunication very accessible and affordable for sale unions?
Be careful when you say this categorical statement, Lama. We are not the most expensive in terms of data. I wish I brought my little scrapbook here.
I'm not saying in the region. I'm very careful. I say people paying expensive.
Well, so when you compare what happens in the region,
do you 1 gigabyte
as well. 1 gigabyte will pay one of the lowest for gigabytes here in Sierra Leone, right? So this is work in progress. We made it more expensive. We are reducing it. We'll continue to reduce it as long as our minister here.
Okay.
Because ultimately, I also buy credit.
So we should take that to the bank as
I also buy credit. Let us establish this.
Are you not post-dated credit?
No. I buy credit for me. So I'm from the money. Government may not let no buy credit for nobody. Okay. So I buy credit like like any other Sierra Leonean, right? I don't at the left they talk about if I not take 10.
We top up down.
Yeah, we top up down. And you know, it's a good feeling to be. So you know you are not super ordinary, you are not a superhuman being. Okay. Yeah. So I buy credit, I want it reduced to the BRS cost. Right?
Are you having value for money with your credit when you buy?
For my credit where I buy? I wish it were a lot cheaper than this. Yeah, but besides I buy.
Okay.
You know, now when people talk about hardship, people they know they buy from different markets, or not to global and they buy or someplace.
But you earning them people and they're different. You are a minister.
No, I earn a lot less now as a government minister. No, I earn a lot less now as a government minister than I earned on my last few jobs.
The messenger earns a lot less than what you earn as a minister. So you can't be compared with how you spend and how you spend. So if people complain, it's justified.
No. Nobody says nobody should complain. I also complain. So I listen to the complaints. That is why a lot of reforms are ongoing right now.
Okay.
We'll be inviting the media next week to one of our rounds of consultations. We are reviewing the National Telecommunications Law.
Okay.
Yes. It can only get better. It won't get worse. Because like I say, I'm also a subscriber. I'm a customer. If it gets better for you...
You get value for money.
No, I want to get more value.
Do you also have drop calls as well from the telcos?
I don't have a dedicated line that they call me on. The same experiences you have. So that is why you find out there is now in progress the consumer protection law in the telecom sector. Okay. That is already getting ready for cabinet and parliament.
Okay.
So we know all of these things because we suffer it, and that is why, you know, it's probably a blessing that. I go through the same hassles. I buy the same credits. We all experience the same drop calls. His Excellency also does. So he nudges me on what are we doing about these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we talk about the conditions of people, let me look at the bread and butter issue now.
Yeah.
The economy, alone. You know, fuel don't go up.
Yeah.
A lot of things don't go up.
Yeah.
Rice, basic things at the market, don't go up. As a government, are you concerned? Are you worried?
When I not say government, Nakumra, this government very, very concerned about the increase in the prices of basic commodities. Definitely, we're concerned. And so, because we're concerned, you know, when President Bio come and enforce state opening of parliament, one of the things that we've been talking about is say, Lord, diversify the economy. Law come up behind this mineral, no more morning, sun, evening. It's a law go back to agriculture, to the blue economy, marine resources, and then you understand? So agriculture, I'm very, very pleased. At the rates, you know, government don't do a lot of investment, don't bring in a lot of tractors that is properly managed at any time in the history of this country before. I mean, no politician not get tractor what government bring in. If you want, then a machine rings. Go to the machine ring, get a coupon, pay for her, you know, and get the services. Same for farm inputs, right? I am pleased to tell everybody in IRC, look, His Excellency, member say, been talk say, all in appointees them for going to farming.
You say get farm?
Oh, I got a big farm.
Oh, okay.
It just happens say I'm a very, very private person when I'm not doing official work, right? So for the last 1-2 years, at the grow, it's at the eat, and at the eat, it's at the grow. Because now the president in mantra, I don't tell you say from where you talk that. Right? You go to a house, and then they serve you. So, you know, they buy. So we say a whole lot of we don't take after. Recently, you see where they screen the current chief minister in farm, even the current minister of finance, foreign affairs. So we they treat this thing very seriously. So Lama, you say what you do so. I want to encourage you and my other company, you know, for Lama, electing a livestock you go into.
No, I don't get land. I don't get land. Maybe I don't get.
No, electing a livestock you go into.
Okay.
Land cow, you know. So I want to say, you know, there is a lot of opportunities out into agriculture. Government, they do, they take the leadership for doing. And I'm not saying by
then they go and address the
no,
people should wait until you begin harvest before.
Come. I just begin. Yeah. So for say this government not get arms akimbo, will not fall one, will sit down, will not do nothing. That's one practical thing. You also understand recently the president launched a Tomabone scheme, the Rombe Swamp, all of them in there, the high stake investments into agriculture.
Okay.
Yes. So we want to get a more sustainable approach to the food problem, the bread and butter problem.
Until then,
beyond that,
until then, the economic situation.
I'm coming. You know. So, you know, say people are not pay import duties on rice, boku in government remove, because we care about people there. What people then get? So that is why the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Trade and the Ministry of Finance are continuing to engage, with all the stakeholders who have a role to play either in the importation or the sale of those things. I am told they've even reactivated and revamped their trade inspector scheme. So let us give them time.
Is it safe to say, the government 3 years' time, you've not been able to address the bread and butter issue?
Well, bread and butter issues are not addressed kum for kum, but you see, government is taking practical efforts. We are concerned and we are taking practical steps. When did it go up? When did these things go up? You forget that we have also celebrated reduction in fuel prices before now. This government, when the prices went down, we reduced the prices. When they went up, we increased the prices. And we are not a fuel producing
It's
country.
gone up more than how it went down.
No.
More
Lama,
times than the time
the moment we understand the context and we live with it, we don't produce fuel. We don't produce crude oil here, and even the countries that produce crude oil, we still remain one of the cheapest here. Do I want fuel prices reduced? I want it to reduce any day because I buy fuel. I buy fuel.
Okay.
Because there's this impression that ministers don't buy fuel. I buy fuel.
I'm asking.
I mean, you don't have to use government vehicles everywhere, and government vehicles have a ceiling to how much fuel they give it.
I'm asking again about the bread and butter issue that you promised. Dollar, from where the bank governor announced about redenomination, dollar has been going up. Yeah. You know, the economy, a lot of people, they complain. People, when they do business, they complain about how things are hard, importing goods here. So is it that even government policy, the announcement of government policies through the Bank of Leone, they affect the economy? You've not been able to.
Okay, so now we come back. You know, with the cherry pick of the issues, then now we come back. Now we take baby steps. Where COVID break, even before we got hit, the Ministry of Finance been very clairvoyant enough. Then put in place a quick action economic response program. For that program, one of the things then have been for ensure the availability of all essential commodities in our country. I have seen countries where people, you said I don't see videos that go around of countries where people then the key up for basic essential commodities. Because we've been clairvoyant, the central bank make $50 million available to importers of the various things at a single-digit interest rate. So then we will bring the thing in. You go able to buy access and so you find out say we're able to maintain, will not get shortage of them commodities. Over and beyond that, we also launch a Munafa fund for do direct social impact interventions, or particularly for small medium enterprises, right? Just for cushioning the economic hardship on the people. This government clearly has a human face, right? I mean, we have been able to, over 5,000 people that now benefit from Munafa, and we are still counting. That's at the first phase. We're also doing the same thing, right? Hotels then social services will be hard hit hotel and tourism. We paid people monies for 3 months salary, basic wages, just for make sure say people then cut pot and begin for boil. During the lockdowns, we did interventions to physically challenge communities where they live by the day. So this government is not oblivious. Say, people that know they go through grueling times, challenging moments. Anytime government policies have had an effect, government has introduced palliatives for cushioning the effect. So a lot of work is ongoing for address this hike in prices of basic essential commodities.
So people should be hopeful.
Yes, definitely.
Is that what you say?
They should be
You understand
confident.
the situation and they should be hopeful.
They should be confident that this government will never let them down.
It's clear you've not been able to handle the situation.
We have not been able to sustainably manage it. But, you know, we have had it good as well before now. But in the last 1 or 2 months, yes, it's become challenging again.
So the redenomination announced by the bank governor, is it already a buy-in by the government? Is it something that is going to happen?
The bank
Not cum fire cum, as you always say, but is it something that will happen?
It's going to happen. The bank governor has said it categorically. It's going to happen. You know, he controls that bit of the economy, the monetary policy. He controls it, and he is no mean bank governor. He comes highly recommended around the world. He clearly knows what he's doing.
He's already got the clearance of the president on this.
I think so.
You believe or you think so?
The president does not interfere with monetary policies.
No, but the president will advise.
No, it is he who should advise the president, not the other way around.
What I'm saying, the president, this is a very big policy. This is something we must not discuss with the president. The president will say, well, go ahead and do it.
Not today, then begin talk about that. Yeah, so I think it has to.
And the government believes that's something that can address
we'll be engaging in a couple of days in a big way. Yeah, it's going to be a multimedia campaign, so that everybody gets to understand why we have chosen this path, what the benefits will be. There will be initial challenges, but if we all put our shoulders to the wheel, we will get the intended dividend.
Okay. Let me move to another discussion, another issue. You know, we see the president's been there out of the country. You know, he went to the UK where he attended the Global Education Summit. You know, he was part of the people that we discussed the issues. Then from there we see he go to Turkey, also I meet with the Turkish president. In all of this, Mr. Minister, you know, when the president came first, where did they travel? Government will announced the number of people that way they go with, who they go with, how long then they take and when then they come. Why did that stop?
Okay, so what's your suggestion?
No, I'm asking. I'm not suggesting. I'm asking why government stop that. Government be they tell we almost people then are the president as part of transparency. Yeah. Almost people then are delegation.
Yeah. So I got to a point. I really think I know this for a fact. Sierra Leone, all the travel abroad. So they we can look like offer when I go to meetings. So then I'm the one and they pay for. So I just imagine, should I fall ill here, drop dead? They will have to do SOS announcements. When you look other countries and the delegations that they send, and not to say now we are the poorest part there, or don't even go there.
Yeah, no,
not to win the poorest part there country.
But the economy,
not to not to win the poorest part there.
In the new manifesto. In the New Direction Manifesto, government clearly...
Which I also participated in putting together.
I'm sure you know of that line.
Yeah, so let's make come.
How much money the past governments waste traveling
and all that. If, for example, a minister travels abroad, yeah, you are not saying take your whole village along. But I really think, and this is something I feel really strongly about, I just imagine you drop dead in a public forum, you are not accompanied because you go alone, your country does not have money.
But we get embassy now, some of them countries.
No, some they not get where they go. So some they not get.
Some, if not most. But
some
most
not
of
get.
The countries they own, they
no,
go.
So long agree say it happen. Who say you not get embassy?
Hello, tragedy. Say happen. Who say get embassy?
Yeah, it was still a disaster. So by then they call the embassy this that. Let's leave that for another day.
But the understanding is the embassy can give you support in this situation if you're traveling to a country.
It's clearly a problem. So this country now they go.
So are you justifying that we should be traveling with more people?
We should be traveling with some people. I'm saying, look, we go like
so
this.
It's nothing about expenditure, how much money we get and how much we spend.
No. So we should be focusing on cost-benefit analysis. I have been abroad. All NCR they talk about free training, yeah, for set up the national SAT. All that in all the hardware, all the waiting multi-million they go into. What na conference no more go. Two people there. Okay. Now 2 people there go. That's it because now they pay. Not so we pay. Not so alone government pay. So I'm saying you know, Sunday, we they get carried away, we unduly focus on how much they spend, we not look at the benefit, the returns.
Okay.
I think that the returns then, President Bio's travels have yielded executive outcomes for this country in many occasions, all of the occasions.
Okay.
So that is what I think so for focus on.
Again, I can't
he has a lot of appetite not to misuse this country's resources.
The initial question was, government was telling us about how many people they travel with the president, and government stopped. Why?
Well, government will always advise on a need-to-know basis. I am saying, as a country, we remain very transparent. We remain very accountable to our people.
If you are telling us and you're not telling us how much people the president...
Well,
the president came...
Well, that probably fell between the cracks. So if you want a return to that, I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
Are you assuring us? But why government stop? Why government
Well, it probably fell between the cracks. But if it's a call you are making, we will see what we can do about it. So
could it be that president don't travel with people they will not know, and sometimes even travel with people we know relevant in delegation?
Well, I don't know. The president, you know, so... the president not the travel to anybody who not relevant in delegation. Anybody,
how will we know where we don't know that they go it?
Because you voted him on the basis of his integrity, on their issues, and so he cannot lie. He's sworn an oath, right, to do the very best for this country. So anytime he does that, he has the best interest of this country at heart.
Okay.
Yes.
So you give assurance now, say government will reverse to telling us how much?
Well, I've heard your call. I'll escalate
you believe it's legitimate? You believe it's legitimate for government for tell you how much or they go, especially where now this?
Yeah, I take that point. I take that point. That's a concern coming from taxpayers, from members of the public, our citizens. I will escalate it.
Okay.
Yes.
The Global Times report this morning say President Bio will be going to the UN General Assembly, and Sierra Leone, one of the countries them way, you know, the U.S. government they advise say, you know, they advise governments them across the world say, they go prefer them they attend the UN General Assembly virtually instead of going in person. So, do you want to assure President Bio?
So I want to talk first about. You mentioned the GPA. His Excellency, you know, this country, and they all say supposed to be proud of, irrespective of politics and other considerations.
Okay.
President Bio, because of trailblazing successes in the education sector, right? These allocating 22% of our national budget on education, radical inclusion, you know, pregnant schoolgirls, disability, this, that, all lengthened in the way they do. He was singled out as one of those African leaders who should attend in person.
Okay.
So as a country, we will be very proud to say we own president. They recognize her and they acknowledge the good thing and what they do, right? But I had people, you know, like I said, this country for elevated debate. I still had people say he went for a virtual summit, you know, because they know I'm for stay on point on debate, they ridicule it.
Okay.
So now to the UN.
Yes.
You know, so among and may not to Creole, but I can hear Creole people then second say, per 1 trip he will achieve boku thing there. His Excellency will be traveling to the UN General Assembly.
Okay.
He'll be traveling.
With how many
for
people?
very good reasons.
With how many people?
I don't have the facts yet, but our delegations have always been mean and lean. We will assure you it will be the same in this case.
So Sierra Leone will not attend virtually, will attend in person.
They did say, if you are reading the advisory that I have also read, they say the General Assembly events, all other side events will be held virtually, right? That is why you find out the delegation will be more modest than in the past.
Will you announce it? Will you announce how many people will be going?
I can guarantee the delegation will be more modest than it has ever been.
Can you guarantee that it will be announced?
I cannot say that. You know?
Why?
Because I'm not putting the delegation together.
No,
if I were, I would announce
Minister of Information. You can.
If that is part of the public call, I will escalate it. And we have never let this country down. We will not let this country down in this instance.
Okay. Again, they ask about, you know, expenditure in traveling. You know, you know, one of the people that we write in your direction manifesto. It's one area where una categorically and clearly say the past government wasted a lot of money. The president was traveling, the former president was traveling. We see President Bio, they do a lot of trips. And most times we're using private jets, we're using chartered flights to go. Is that not costing us as well?
Okay, so let us also take note of this. I have not once seen President Bio travel a Matoma. Or I have not seen him travel with somebody who has nothing to do with the
Who
trip.
didn't know because he didn't announce?
No, even up to the time we announced it, at no point has there been anybody who has nothing to do with the trip.
That we can agree because we know the list won't announce. But otherwise, we don't know.
Okay, so watch this space. Watch this space. Watch this space.
So are we having value for money? Is it justified?
Absolutely.
All this traveling.
I have always said it's cost benefit. President Bill traveled before he came in. The money that we now have for IROM, integrated urban mobility, the IROM project that's about unfolding, that's currently unraveling. You know, this was a $25 million loan we had. Through those travels and through his consummate engagement as a quintessential #1 diplomat for the country, he was able to up that amount from $25 million to $50 million, and it was all given as a grant. Okay. Right? This morning, because the Global Fund is impressed with what we are doing, before we came in, something like 150 or so million dollars, right? About $1.something million, sorry. $1.something million has been, you know, utilized, which the Global Fund deemed as ineligible expenditure. Sierra Leone, they stopped funding us until we are able to refund that money. That was in the previous administration. So we have done a payment plan and we've started paying that money. 40% of it, the president has okayed it to be paid. So today, what are we getting? Today, the president officially announced $156 million to the health sector, for health sector strengthening, for malaria, TB, and HIV/AIDS. Okay. This is very good, right? This is because they trust this government, they bank on our integrity, and commitment to probity and accountability.
The president will continue to travel.
The president will continue to travel as long as it is for the betterment of this country, as long as it is to ensure that we deal poverty a lethal blow, as long as it is to ensure that we get more money to put into the health sector so that no woman dies in childbirth, as long as it is to ensure that we get more and more kids in school, as long as it is to ensure that we are able to actualize the new direction vision, which is to ensure that we create a united, peaceful, and happy Sierra Leone, where every Sierra Leonean will have access to jobs, education, and other opportunities. His Excellency will continue to travel. I
understand the president therefore engaged the Sierra Leonean diaspora and the U.S. as well in traveling. But one thing where the president, I can recall, say, the time we go to UK, now assurance to the Sierra Leone diaspora of how much they get for being involved in the politics, the democracy, and governance process in Salon. One is giving them rights to vote. You know, we've had discussions about the two SIM issues. We see governments, they push. There is a bill that has been gazetted or so about giving rights to people we naturalize in Salon or we get dual citizenship for become members of parliament. Is there any assurance that Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora will be able to take part in the coming elections? I see Kanda Yumkela, they asked for that as well.
He didn't need to ask for it. This is a very progressive government. We have enacted very progressive legislations. We have undertaken major progressive legal reforms, right? This is part of President Bio has always argued. Many families here rely on their diaspora siblings and family members to contribute to their well-being and upkeep, right? He realizes that. So when we want projects, we ask for their money. But when it's about time for them to enjoy the franchise, we discriminate against them. He does not want that. That is why even before all of these things happened, a bill is already before cabinet for consideration to ensure that, yes, we'll give them rights, the franchise.
To SIM people with dual citizenship, is that the consideration to be able to contest elections?
That is, yes, that is.
But you not think about the ramifications of that, the issues of loyalty, allegiance as well?
Well, so that is why it is before cabinet, right? All of those ramifications will be looked into. You can be sure this cabinet is peopled by some of the brightest Sierra Leonean minds, both legal and otherwise. We will ensure that we do right by the people of Sierra Leone. So watch this space. We'll come back here, I'm sure, on either this or your sister programs to talk about that.
Okay, Mr. Minister, as we try for roundup, you know, we don't talk about you sectors how you the supervise. We don't talk about the bread and butter issues, but we slowly move into you know, things that we get for do with the development of the country, how government they look at them, the issue of strengthening democracy, good governance, the judiciary as well. What's in the assurance moving forward with regards to, you know, opening the political space, allowing, opposition parties to operate, easily. We see corporate, they complain a lot about PPRC one push, you know,
honestly,
an agenda.
Honestly,
how do you intend to engage? PPRC is COP recently complained about the appointment by President Bill of somebody for serving a neck.
I honestly want to remain modest, but COP, in my view, has acted in bad faith in many of the instances.
How?
Let me tell you. You know, so remember when Parliament asked us to go out and broaden the scope of consultation, even though we had been consulting political parties in Parliament, we still said, look, PPRC, we wrote a letter to them, invite political parties so that we can do a presentation to them, right? I mean, the presentation was done, and
they said they were expecting you. They were expecting.
Well, they were not going to pay a courtesy call on me. Sorry, I think that is leaving the ball and going for my feet. They were not going to pay a courtesy call on me. We wanted to brief them on the cybercrime bill. The presentation was done, which Madam Claudia School prefers to dismiss as OIAC presentation. Well, that was a very intelligent presentation, right? After all of that, right, we did not stop at that. We printed copies of the bill and gave it to them. To this day, they never once got back to us. What form of consultation did they need? They still went about castigating. They were not consulted. So I don't find that done in good faith.
Okay.
We could simply have referred them, go to our website and print copies.
In situations outside the law even provide for engage them, you know, on issues like the appointment of people who serve.
No. So this is one area where I have issues with COP. They have discussed in very bad faith. Look at the efforts we bent over backwards.
So you judging them on that? You're not going to engage them further on other
well, this is issues? Not my ministry engaging them, but I know the PPRC is more than competent to engage them on these issues.
From the presidency, they raising concerns
over what?
Over the appointment of one of the.
Well, so I'm also aware that the commissioner in question has received rave reviews, right? I have seen letters from other political parties. Due process was done. They were consulted, and I have said this here on sister platforms. When it was time for the appointment of the electoral commissioner, the same letter they sent to them was the same letter they sent to them in this case. And back then they raised issues, right? So it is the same thing. They were consulted, and we got responses from many political parties saying this is the best thing that will happen to the commission.
Is there room for more engagement? COP, the other time, they even go later in a state house, say they want to see them and talk with their own president. President Bill.
That's why they go talk to president. That was a little rowdy, but you said no. That was a rowdy way. Is that how you go to talk to your president?
I'm asking. Then
no, let's take baby steps and get at this.
I'm saying what they said.
No. So now that you are where you are, is that how you will propose citizens go to meet their president?
Maybe they could have do it in another way.
That was not decorous enough. You know that.
Maybe that is how they think they can do it. But what the question?
No. But people aspiring to leave our country
but the question,
should be more decorous than that. You don't barge into the presidency like that.
So is it that they've been seen as people where government are going to engage on
No.
matters?
President Bill has a huge appetite, right, for dialogue. I mean, he will continue to engage political parties on germane issues, on pertinent issues.
Does that include COP as a body?
Well, he will continue to engage political parties.
Okay.
A rose, they say, by whatever name smells are sweet. He will continue to engage political parties on critical issues that will help move our country forward. Just this day, the Honorable Chief Minister unveiled the next cycle of the electoral reforms process, right? You had their development partners, people from civil society, all walks of life, right? We want to have an inclusive process every inch of the way because, as he put it, you know, inclusivity is very, very, very key to free, fair, and credible elections. This government understands that, and we are leaving no stone unturned to ensure that we bring everybody on board and engage.
Finally.
Engagement does not necessarily mean consent, though.
Okay. Finally, Mr. Minister, again on the bread and butter issue. What's the assurance we want to sell union? It is very important. It's like you say, it's affects all of us. What's the assurance to sell union people?
You know, like I say,
it could be addressed.
We all buy from the same market. We understand as government.
We earn differently.
As government, we remain very committed to turn in this corner. A lot of steps are in the offing. Government is taking practical steps to ensure that we are able to bring the prices of basic essential commodities down. But while at that, I also want to encourage all Sierra Leoneans for us to invest in farming. Farming can make millionaires out of us.
But everybody knows farm.
No, but many people can do it.
Okay.
You know, so next time I'll take you to my farm.
And you're doing it now, so another.
So you've not been to my office. That's what, you know, it's what I grow for lunch.
Okay.
You can ask anybody in the Ministry of Information who gets lunch.
Including rice.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, Mr. Minister, for your time. With that assurance day that things go turn around things.
Absolutely. This is a serious government. We'll not let this country down like we've never done before.
Okay.
Not, yeah.
Well, now we go end the program what sits today. We're going to talk to the Minister of Information and Communications, Honorable Mohamed Rahman Soare. We don't talk about different issues. I mean, we don't end with an assurance that the government will turn things around with the bread and butter in the economy. Thanks for your watch. We'll meet back next week. Mina Amadou Lamgana Ba. Continue for watch AYV. This now what's it.
We are chairman of Renaissance, and Renaissance was considered to be an independent body that advocates for change.
So, I'm not asking you to ask about.
You were Minister of Information where President Kuma announced austerity measures from State House.
Yes.
No matter your street quality, and I am against that. I will not accept. This is not President Bio's free quality education.
So the economy went bad from your own time. You're not Bioist or you're not pauper.
I will find it difficult for interpret the connotations that they.
As the Anti-Corruption Commissioner, have you been approached to be compromised or corrupted in the matter you're investigating?
When they talk about the ills of the country for years, 5 years to election, I know them. President Bio at the time, Nabi Mumu.
It's the one, yeah. Sarah Juice, yeah. It's the one. Super fresh, natural, nutritious, delicious, yeah. Sarah Juice, yes.
Sierra Juice, the taste of Salon.
Wondering how to cash in using AfriMoney? Here are a few easy steps. Go to the nearest AfriMoney agents. Tell them how much you want to deposit. Give the agents your number and the cash. You will receive an SMS notification from 161 confirming the deposits. To check and confirm your balance, dial *161 *9*1# and enter your PIN. Remember, you do not have to pay extra for deposits. Cashing is free.
In Sierra Leone, the camera is a weapon and filmmaking is a medicine for the soul. There is so much in making a great film. When we come together, it's the greatest show of affection you will ever see. Our premierings will jam again. Our movies will break boundaries and our directors will make magic with the camera. You see, filmmaking is life-giving. Hey filmmakers, let's gather together and communicate in the language of the camera. We are filmmakers and we know that we are key players in society. National Film Awards, for hope, for celebration.
Hello, Sisi.